Okay, looks like it's 3:30. So welcome to today's development permit panel meeting for Wednesday, November the 10th. I'm Milton Chan, chair for today, the director of engineering. With me today is the GM of community safety, Cecilia Shem, and Peter Russell, our director of sustainability and district energy. For staff, we have Wayne Craig, director of development, and various other staff that can help with the item on the agenda. So the panel deals with items such as parking, architecture, access, landscaping, etc., forming character. It does not deal with land use and density. These are set by council during zoning. In the order of business, we'll have the proponent's presentation, followed by staff comments, panel questions, public comments and letters, and then panel deliberation. And should there be a positive recommendation, it will go to council in 2 weeks afterwards. There's no opportunity for the public to delegate to council directly. However, council may hold a public hearing if they choose. So I think that's it for the housekeeping issues. On to the minutes of the previous meeting. So it looks like there is a typo in the minutes. It should be moving the minutes of the October 27th meeting. Do we have a motion for that? And seconded. All in favor? Moved, carried. And item number 1 on the agenda. Development permit 1883866 for a property located at 6031 Blundell Road, applicant ZGET Holdings Corp. And this development is for a 2-story building, retail on the ground floor, offices above at 6031 Blundell Road. And there are some variances to the zoning bylaw to reduce the setback of the west side yard, increase the building height for rooftop screening of mechanical equipment, and for small car parking spaces. So would the proponent like to start the presentation?
Oh, yes. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Eric from Eric Law Architect. I'm the project architect for this project. And I'm going to do some presentation of the architectural design. And after that, our landscape architect, Minister, will be presenting the landscape items. So let me share the screen on this one. Can anybody see the screen? Okay, that's good. So this site is, we are proposing a 2-story retail on the ground level, and then on the second floor level is an office building. The site is basically at the intersection of number 2 Road and Blundell Road, and this is where the site is. Right now, it's a vacant site. Originally, there was a pub in the site, but it was demolished already. So right now it's an empty vacant site, as you can see on the context photo. Next to our building site is a commercial bank building, and on the east side is a 2-story duplex neighbor duplex house. Opposite the Blundell Road is a shopping mall with Safeway and the other retail and commercial use opposite Blundell Road. The characteristic of this site is basically, you can see from the photo, is that there are lots of mature and healthy trees along the site, as you can see from the context photo here. You can have a lot of tall trees on the north side, as well as some on the east side. There is also a existing tree right next to the existing drive entrance, which is a city tree, which is pretty mature and healthy. That's why when we do the design, first thing is that we want to keep all the trees at the back on the east side, as well as on the front facing the Blundell Road, keeping the existing crossing of the Blundell Road. And that leaves a lot of space so that we don't touch the existing tall and healthy trees. In this project, we are going to keep all the trees within the site. There's no cutting or removal of any trees. And with this concept in mind, then basically the building will be positioned next to the existing bank on the west side, almost like touching the building next door, but with a little gap between. That's why on our proposal, we have to ask for relaxation so that we can put the building close to the west side and then away from the tree and away from the neighbor, so that we don't interfere with any adverse effect to the trees as well as to the neighbor to the south as well as to the east side. So the location of the building is almost in order to achieve that, we put the building right next to the neighbor bank building, and would almost like we are on the line, roughly align the next door neighbor bank, so that we got a continuous commercial edge along the face. And then we have a break with the entrance driveway, keeping the existing crossing, keeping the existing trees, those sort of things, so that you got a nice transition from commercial onto the residential on the east side. That's basically the concept of the overall site plan, so that we can maintain to keep as much of tree as possible. So with that in mind, and we got a more refined site plan here as shown in this one. Once we propose to building on this side, we allow for the disabled people to go along. We have a disabled van at the back with the parking space mostly on the back of the building as well as on the east side. So the building will be away from the tree. As you can see, there's a lot of trees and along here and here and here and here too. So this is the best position to be located with the two-story building. And with that in mind too, that we allow for disabled people to go around to the retail as well as to go up with an elevator, automatic door opener with a lobby going up to the second floor, which is all accessible to disabled people in the office, and with a disabled washroom allowed for the second floor. And the form of the building is basically, you can see from the image that we allow the building almost a similar height and also align with face of the next door bank building. And they allow for the driveway to come into the space. This is existing crossing with existing all the trees at the back and allow for the tree on the east side. This is also some of the image, as you can see from the driveway coming into, we put all the parking at the back so that it has minimized the disruption of the interference with all the existing trees along the back of the site. And with that in mind too, so you can see the building is along here. All the service will be located at the back with the access loading space and also the access to the service at the back rather than in the front. So the front will be all mainly in the glass with retail activities. You can see along the walkway, you can have the commercial activities on the ground level. So, and as well as you can go to the lobby and then go up to the office here. And one of the mechanical systems that we are proposing is to use a central heat pump system, which is a high energy efficient system to cool and heat the building. And we put all those equipment on the roof, up a centralized commercial heat pump system on top of the roof, and then we put some screen around it for aesthetic reasons. That's why we ask for some relaxation of the height of the top of the roof so that it screen off the equipment on top of the roof. And you can see on the second floor, we got all the glass canopy around the entrance, so they cover the walkway with weather protection, and all the people can go into the retail as well as go to the lobby without with a weather cover. And now I can ask our landscape architect to talk about the landscape design of this project. Denisa?
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Good afternoon. My name is Denisa. It's PMG Landscape Architect. Landscape plan for this project has been designed to incorporate existing trees proposed for retention for this project as along north, as Eric already mentioned, and north property line and east property line, and all trees, off-site trees. In these areas, existing grades remain the same, and all construction work are to be done under arborist supervision. All elements are to be built over the existing grades. Streetscape have been improved with landscape strip mixed with evergreen, flowering shrubs, grasses, perennials, and as well we're proposing 3 medium-sized trees. Also, we're providing bollard lights for better lighting, and as well we're providing bollard lights at the back where the parking spots are. Privacy from adjacent properties have been created with 6 feet wood fence and trellis structure partially along east property line for reducing overview and better privacy from the neighboring residential development. We're providing permeable pavers almost at the entire main entrance for the driveway, and different colors pavers for pedestrian walkway around the building, so that will emphasize the building facade. And this is an overview for landscape plan for this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any staff comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a few comments, if I may. There is a servicing agreement associated with this project prior to building permit issuance. The servicing agreement will deal with site services and minor improvements to the site frontage. Like to commend the applicant on their efforts to preserve the on-site and off-site trees as part of the development, and just wanted to highlight some information related to the 3 variances associated with the project. The setback variance to the west property line is, as the architect described, allows the 2 buildings to be butted against each other. There will be flashing installed to conceal the gap between the 2 buildings. The height variance is associated with acoustical screening around the rooftop heat pumps. And the last variance is in relationship to small car stalls. Should this parking lot have included more than 31 cars, there would be no variance required. This is a technical variance in that this is a smaller parking lot involving only 17 parking stalls, less than 50% of which would be small car in nature. That would conclude the comments. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any questions from the panel? Cecilia?
I noticed that there's a patio space in the front of the retail unit, and there's also, I think, a bench or 2 that the landscape architect has put in. Is the retail space intended to be, a restaurant or something like that that can utilize the patio, or just a curiosity question?
To answer the question is that we are not allowed to use this space as a restaurant because of the parking restriction. We don't have enough parking space to support these activities as the restaurant activities. That's why right now we are proposing just for the ground floor to be as retail use only.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Russell, any questions?
Yeah, I think it confirms in this view, actually, but in some of the views it was confusing. But I'm assuming that's a continuous concrete city sidewalk that goes through the site. Okay, I see staff nodding. And then, yeah, I had similar questions around the exterior patio use. So thank you for clarifying. But would that, what maybe staff can advise, would that apply to, say, a coffee shop, or is a restaurant a very specific thing? Because if it's a coffee shop, it would seem reasonable that exterior patio use would be desirable.
Through the chair to Mr. Russell, provided that we can obtain the confirmation of sufficient parking, all potential uses would be available, and there would be potential to use the private space in front of the retail units for business activity.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions. I would commend the applicant for choosing a heat pump, and the variance allows for that to occur. It does support our city objectives around greenhouse gas reduction.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any public at the meeting? My screen doesn't really show right now. Rusty Kofi just confirmed there's nobody from the public in attendance.
We have no members of the public registered to delegate at this meeting, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Is there any letters to read into the record?
We didn't receive any letters from the public as well, Mr. Chair.
So Eric, maybe if you could stop sharing your screen at this point. Okay. Thanks. Panel deliberation. Any thoughts from the panel?
Well, I appreciate all the trees being saved. It makes our job easier to support the project, and I also support the small car spaces. And I actually appreciate the building being pushed to be attached to the next door building, because it does give a lot more breathing room to the duplex next door. I understand that in the future that site might be redeveloped, but even then it would be for residential. So the more space that we could leave on the east side, the better. So I think it's a nice little project that I'm happy to support.
I would agree. I have nothing more to say other than it is a very well done, sensitive integration into the community.
Yeah, I would echo the comments of the panel, and just that it'd be nice to see this site developed. It's been empty for a while, so it'll be definitely good for the neighborhood to have this empty lot constructed. So, do we have a motion to approve this application?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor? Any opposed? No. Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And back to the agenda. Any new business?
No new business, Mr. Chair.
So our date of the next meeting is November 24th, 2021. And do I need to have a motion for adjournment? Or can I just wait? We are adjourned. Thanks.